The alien princess's daughters disappeared. They were sleeping in a tent, cuddling with a human. Stars shimmered in the sky like tiny diamonds, and strange nebula clouds painted streaks of green and purple across the horizon. The vastness of space had always fascinated Kale, but tonight the quiet felt different. Tonight he wasn't just exploring. He was guarding Princess Lysera of the Scifi species and her two daughters on a diplomatic mission, an assignment that could define humanity's place in interstellar politics. Princess Lysera's ship had landed on a secluded plateau far from the bustling trade routes. The air here was crisp, filled with the scent of alien pine-like trees and minerals that glowed faintly under the twin moons. Kale watched the princess and her daughters, Myra and Lyra, as they wandered toward the campsite, their long, iridescent hair shimmering in the moonlight. The Scifi were beautiful beings, with luminous skin and eyes that reflected the colors of their emotions. Despite their alien appearance, Kale felt a strange connection with them, as if the universe had decided to test human courage and kindness at once. Kale, Lysera called softly, her melodic voice carrying over the gentle rustle of the wind. The girls insist on camping tonight. I hope that is acceptable. Kale bowed slightly. Of course, Your Highness. I'll make sure everything is safe. Myra, the elder daughter, tugged her mother's arm. We want to sleep under the stars, Mama. Humans do it all the time, don't they? Lyra, younger and more curious, added, Yes, yes, and we want Kale to stay with us. He's so clever and funny. Kale laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. Well, I'll do my best to keep you safe and maybe even tell a few stories before you sleep. Lysera hesitated, then smiled. Very well, if it comforts them, we shall try your way. The campsite was simple. A triangular tent made of human materials had been pitched near a shallow river. Soft mats and blankets were arranged inside, and a small fire crackled outside, sending golden sparks into the night sky. Kale arranged supplies while the girls explored the surroundings, their laughter blending with the whispering wind. You know, Kale said as he tightened the tent ropes, camping in the wild can be tricky. There are creatures and elements you might not expect. Myra tilted her head. We are Scifi. We are used to many strange things, but your world is fun and dangerous, Kale chuckled. Fun can be dangerous too, but I think tonight will be fine, just stay close. Once the tent was ready, the girls crawled inside, pulling Kale along with them. To his surprise, they didn't just want to sleep near him, they wanted to cuddle. He felt a strange warmth, not of romantic love, but of trust and companionship. In that moment, he realized that humans and aliens could share more than diplomacy. They could share understanding, kindness, and courage. The fire outside dimmed as the moon rose higher. Kale told stories of Earth, of mountains, oceans, and cities that stretched beyond imagination. Myra and Lyra listened with wide eyes, their hands gripping his arms as if holding on to the wonder he painted with words. Humans are strange, Lyra whispered, but very brave. Sometimes, Kale admitted, we are more afraid than we seem, but fear can teach us things about ourselves. The girls nodded, snuggling closer. The air in the tent felt warm despite the cold outside. Stars peeked through the tent opening, reflecting in their wide, curious eyes. Kale felt a sense of responsibility heavier than any weapon or shield he had carried in his life. As the night deepened, Kale noticed something unusual. Tiny sparks of light flickered across the nearby trees, moving with intent, as if observing the camp. He squinted, trying to see what it was. Myra, Lyra, stay quiet, all right, he whispered. Myra pressed her small hand against his arm. What is it? I'm not sure yet, Kale said, but I'll keep you safe, that's a promise. He slipped out of the tent silently, moving toward the edge of the forest. His human instincts, heightened by years of survival training, picked up subtle movements. Shadows shifted unnaturally, and a faint humming sound filled the air. Kale's heart beat steadily. This wasn't the first time he had faced unknown threats, but tonight the stakes were different. These were the princess's children, and his decisions could mean life or death. Suddenly the sparks coalesced into a form, a small, floating creature, translucent with a faint green glow. It hovered above the grass, watching Kale with what seemed like curiosity. He raised his hand slowly, showing no threat. "Easy," he murmured. "I'm not here to hurt you." The creature pulsed brightly and then, in an instant, darted toward the tent. Kale ran after it, heart pounding, but as he approached, he froze. The tent was glowing faintly, and Myra and Lyra were sitting up, smiling as if nothing was wrong. The creature hovered above them, circling once before disappearing into the night sky. Kale blinked. "What just happened?" Myra giggled. "It wanted to see us. Humans are always so nervous." Lyra laughed, her voice light and pure. "It liked you too, Kale." Kale exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. The creatures of the forest were curious, not dangerous for now. He realized the night wasn't just a challenge. It was an invitation to understand this alien world, to build bridges between species, and to show what humanity could do: care, protect, and adapt. By the time the twins settled back into the blankets, the fire outside was nearly gone, leaving only embers glowing softly in the dark. Kale lay between them, staring at the stars through the open flap of the tent. He thought of Earth, of humans, endless curiosity and courage. He thought of the princess, of the fragile diplomacy that balanced on this night, and he thought of the daughters who had trusted a human completely. Somewhere in the distance, the wind carried a faint hum, almost like a song. Kale's eyes narrowed. He knew this night was only the beginning. Something had stirred beyond the plateau, something that would challenge humans and Sci-Fi alike. But for now, the moment was calm. Myra yawned and whispered, "Good night, Kale. Don't let anything scary come near us." Kale smiled. "I won't sleep well," Lyra murmured. "Humans are amazing, even you." Kale chuckled softly. "And Sci-Fi girls are braver than most humans I know." The three of them drifted into sleep, huddled together under the alien sky. Outside, the forest whispered, and the stars twinkled, hinting at adventures yet to come. Somewhere far away, a shadow moved silently, watching the human and the daughters who trusted him. Kale didn't know it yet, but by morning the night's peace would vanish, and a new, thrilling journey would begin. But for now, there was only the quiet of the plateau, the warmth of the tent, and the shared bond of two species finding trust in one another. Morning arrived slowly over the Andromeda expanse, casting soft light over the plateau. Kale stirred first, blinking against the glow of the rising sun. The tent felt unusually quiet. For a moment he thought the girls were still asleep. Then a sharp sense of alarm hit him. "Myra, Lyra." Kale's voice shook slightly as he pulled himself up, but the twins were gone. Panic surged through Kale. He scrambled out of the tent, scanning the campsite. The blankets were disturbed, the fire reduced to cold ash, and on the ground, faint glowing footprints led toward the forest. Kale's pulse quickened. He had been trained for emergencies, but nothing had prepared him for this. The princess's daughters, two young Sci-Fi girls, were missing. "Princess Lysera," Kale called, trying to stay calm. Moments later, Lysera appeared, her long, iridescent hair catching the morning sun. Her face, usually serene, was pale with worry. "Kale, they are gone." Her voice was tight, full of fear that hid her usual composure. "Yes," Kale said firmly, pointing toward the faint glowing trail. "I saw footprints leading into the forest. Someone or something took them." Lysera's eyes flared with determination. "We must act quickly. Every moment counts." Kale nodded. "I'll track them. Humans have skills for this. I'll follow the trail." Lysera hesitated, then agreed. "Very well, I will accompany you. We must remain cautious." The forest was alive with strange sounds. Alien birds called with melodic cries, and the trees shimmered faintly in colors Kale could barely describe. Despite the beauty, he focused on the trail. The footprints glowed with energy, faint but distinct. The twins' captors had been careful, but humans had intuition, something technology alone could not replicate. Kale moved slowly, scanning the surroundings. "The prints are deliberate," he said. "They want us to follow, but they are hiding something." Lysera glanced at him. "How can you tell?" "Humans notice patterns," Kale explained. "Small details that others overlook. The footprints curve unnaturally at one point. That tells me the captors are trying to mislead us." Lysera raised an eyebrow, impressed despite herself. "Interesting. Humans are clever." They followed the trail deeper into the forest, stepping over glowing roots and moss that hummed softly. Every so often, Kale paused, examining the footprints and the surrounding ground. He pointed out tiny clues: a bent leaf, a faint smell, a small indentation on a stone. The princess watched closely, realizing that this human senses and reasoning were unmatched by her most advanced Sci-Fi tracking systems. After nearly an hour, they reached a crystal canyon. Massive, translucent spires rose from the ground, refracting the sunlight in dazzling patterns. The glowing footprints ended abruptly at the edge of a sheer cliff. Kale frowned. "This can't be right," he muttered. "The trail doesn't just stop here. They must have a way down." Lysera's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps they flew. Some species in this region can levitate or glide." Kale scanned the cliffs, noticing faint marks along the walls, almost invisible unless you looked closely. "Look here," he said. "These scratches suggest ropes or claws." Whoever took them moved carefully, too carefully for ordinary creatures. They descended cautiously, Kale leading the way, his movements precise. He relied on human ingenuity, using ropes and hooks he carried from Earth, improvising where necessary. Lysera and her guards followed, relying on both Sci-Fi technology and Kale's guidance. At the bottom of the canyon, the forest thickened. Strange bioluminescent plants glowed softly, casting light across the ground. Here, Kale noticed something else: faint energy readings that pulsed rhythmically. "They're using some kind of energy field," he said. "It's not harmful, but it's keeping us at a distance." Lysera examined the energy field. "It is a containment field of some kind." "Whoever has the girls is using advanced technology," Kale nodded. "We need to figure out how to disable it. Humans are resourceful. I can try a few things." He examined the field carefully, noticing patterns in its pulsing glow. With a few adjustments using the tools he carried, Kale created a small device that could temporarily disrupt the field. The pulse slowed, giving them a narrow window to pass through safely. "Careful," Kale warned as he led Lysera and the guards through the weakened barrier. The air shimmered, but no harm came to them. On the other side, the forest opened into a hidden valley. Strange towers of crystal and metal rose from the ground, faintly humming. It was unlike anything Kale had ever seen. The glow of the valley was soft and eerie, reflecting off the water of small streams that ran between the towers. "There!" Lysera exclaimed, pointing. Through a translucent dome at the center of the valley, Kale could see Myra and Lyra, seated calmly on a platform, surrounded by shimmering machinery. Their eyes were wide but not fearful. "They're unharmed," Kale whispered, relief washing over him. "But we still need to get them out." Lysera's voice was firm. "Kale, we must approach carefully. This is no ordinary threat." Kale studied the machinery, realizing it was designed to analyze energy signatures and perhaps communication patterns between species. The captors weren't violent, they were studying. But that didn't mean the twins were safe indefinitely. Using a combination of human creativity and Sci-Fi understanding, Kale formulated a plan. "We'll create a distraction," he said. "The field is energy-based. If we disrupt it, we can get the girls without harm." Lysera looked skeptical. "And you believe a human plan can work against such advanced technology?" Kale smiled. "Humans are stubborn. Sometimes that's exactly what's needed." He gathered materials nearby: stones, bioluminescent plants, and a few energy crystals, and arranged them to mimic energy fluctuations. The field reacted immediately, pulsing wildly. Alarms echoed softly through the valley, and small drones hovered toward the disturbance. "Now," Kale shouted. He sprinted toward the dome with Lysera following closely. Using a combination of human agility and quick thinking, Kale triggered the field's temporary shutdown. The dome shimmered and dissolved. Myra and Lyra looked at Kale with wide eyes. "Kale," they exclaimed, running toward him. He knelt, embracing them. "I've got you, you're safe now." Lysera's voice was calm but full of gratitude. "You have proven yourself invaluable, Kale. Not just brave, but clever. The girl's safety owes much to your ingenuity." Kale stood, brushing off dust. "We still need to leave. The valley may be watched by others, but for now we've made the first step." Together they retraced their path, Kale leading the way with his sharp instincts. The forest, once alien and threatening, now seemed familiar. Every challenge they overcame reinforced his belief in human adaptability and courage. By the time they returned to the plateau, the sun was high in the sky. The twins were safe, but Kale knew this was only the beginning. Whoever had taken them had not intended harm, yet the mysteries of this region were far from solved. And somewhere in the depths of the Andromeda expanse, new challenges awaited, challenges that would test humans and Sci-Fi alike. As the camp settled for a brief rest, Myra and Lyra clung to Kale, their trust in him absolute. Lysera watched quietly, realizing that humans were not just primitive beings. They were capable of extraordinary problem-solving, bravery, and empathy. Kale looked up at the sky, the familiar stars reflecting in his eyes. "We've survived this," he whispered. "But the galaxy is bigger than any of us imagined, and we're only just beginning." The twins yawned and nestled close to him. "Humans are amazing," Lyra murmured. Kale smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride, not for himself but for his species. In a universe full of unknowns, humans could adapt, protect, and unite. The hunt had begun, and humanity had shown its strength once again. And somewhere beyond the valley, hidden eyes watched, curious and cautious, waiting to see what the human and the Sci-Fi princess would do next. The hidden valley settled into a quiet hum as Kale, Princess Lysera, and the twins took a moment to catch their breath. Myra and Lyra were safe, but their curiosity was palpable. They clutched Kale's hands and pointed at the glowing towers around them. "Kale, what is this place?" Myra asked, eyes wide. "It looks like a hidden civilization," Kale replied slowly. "Someone built this long ago, but it's different from anything we've seen. The structures are alive, almost like they're part of the planet." Lysera scanned the valley with her keen Sci-Fi senses. "I have heard legends of a forgotten moon," she said. "A place where ancient technology merges with nature itself. Perhaps this is it." Kale frowned, examining the strange towers. Tiny energy pulses ran along their surfaces, as if communicating with one another. He noticed a faint path leading toward a larger, central structure. "I think the girls were taken there. That dome we saw, there's more beyond it." Myra and Lyra clung to his arms, eyes full of trust. "We're not afraid," Lyra said, her small hand gripping his. "We know you'll protect us." Kale felt a swell of pride. Humans had survived countless dangers by using intuition and courage, and now he had a chance to prove that bravery could bridge species. "Then we keep going," he said, moving toward the central tower. The valley was alive with quiet energy. Small, floating drones, shaped like glowing orbs, drifted around silently, observing. Kale realized they were not hostile but careful. Whoever controlled this place was meticulous, studying every movement. As they approached the central tower, the ground shifted slightly underfoot. Plants and crystals moved subtly, creating patterns that guided or blocked paths. Kale studied them carefully, remembering human survival training. "These patterns aren't random," he said. "They're guiding us. Whoever designed this place wants us to reach the center, but carefully." Lysera nodded. Ancient Sci-Fi texts describe similar energy patterns. They are designed to test intelligence and patience. Only those who understand balance and observation can pass. Kale smiled. Well, humans are good at noticing details. Let's try. Together, they navigated the moving plants and crystals. Kale's quick thinking allowed them to avoid traps, shifting stones that could crush or cut, small energy pulses that could disable machinery, and even the floating drones that hovered near. With each step, the twins grew more confident, imitating Kale's careful observation. Finally, they reached the central tower, a massive crystalline structure glowing softly. Inside, they found Myra and Lyra, seated on platforms that hummed faintly with energy. The twins were unharmed but surrounded by advanced machinery designed to measure energy and reactions. Kale's heart leapt. "Girls!" he shouted, running forward. Myra and Lyra looked up and smiled. "Kale, you found us." Kale knelt beside them. "I told you humans are clever and brave." Lysera followed, her gaze focused on the machinery. "This is advanced technology. It is not designed for harm, but for study." Kale examined the devices. Small lights blinked in patterns, and screens displayed energy readings that resembled the twins' unique Sci-Fi energy signatures. "They're studying the connection between human and Sci-Fi energy," Kale explained. "The field outside, the floating drones, they're just observing." Myra tilted her head. "But why did they take us?" Kale thought for a moment. "Maybe they wanted to understand how humans and Sci-Fi interact. You two are special because you trust each other and people from different species." Lysera's eyes narrowed. "It seems they did not intend harm, but we cannot leave things to chance. We must ensure the safety of my daughters." Kale studied the controls. The system was complicated, but he had learned something humans always relied on: intuition. He touched a panel, watching how it responded to his presence. Slowly, he began to disrupt the containment energy, weakening it enough to allow safe passage without harming the machinery. "Kale, be careful," Lysera warned, but she followed his lead. The machinery pulsed, lights flashing, as Kale adjusted controls and manipulated the energy. The twins watched in awe, seeing how a human could handle technology far beyond Earth's. "You're amazing, Kale," Lyra whispered. Kale smiled. "Thanks, little one, but I couldn't do it without your trust." Finally, the containment field deactivated, leaving the twins free. Kale guided them off the platforms and embraced them. "You're safe now," he said firmly. "Nothing will hurt you here." Lysera watched him closely, her admiration clear. "Humans are remarkable," she said. "You combine courage, intuition, and creativity in ways that our technology cannot replicate." Kale blushed slightly. "I just use what humans do best: think, observe, and adapt." The hidden valley was quiet again, but Kale knew the danger wasn't over. This civilization was old, mysterious, and filled with technology that could challenge even the most advanced Sci-Fi minds. He had to ensure the twins were safely removed, and learn why this civilization existed at all. As they prepared to leave, Kale noticed faint inscriptions on the central tower's walls. They were alien symbols, glowing softly. He traced them with his fingers, feeling a subtle energy pulse in response. "These markings, they're like a message," he said. "Someone wanted to leave knowledge behind, maybe a warning." Lysera examined them. "The texts speak of coexistence and balance. Those who come here must respect life, observe carefully, and act with intention." Kale nodded. "That fits. This place tests those who enter. But it also teaches." Myra and Lyra, curious as ever, explored the crystals gently, touching surfaces that responded with glowing patterns. Kale reminded them to be careful, but he also felt pride in their courage. Humans and Sci-Fi alike could learn from one another, he realized, and these young minds were proof. Suddenly, a soft hum echoed through the valley. Small lights gathered in the air, forming shapes that resembled birds and animals. The valley seemed alive, responding to their presence. Kale stepped forward, sensing an intelligence behind the energy. "This civilization isn't just machines," he said quietly. "It's alive in its own way." Lysera's eyes widened. "Then it is wise. It has observed many, but only allows passage to those worthy." Kale smiled. Seems like it trusts us for now. They began their journey back, carefully retracing their steps through the moving forest and crystal canyon. Kale led the way, ensuring they avoided hazards. Every step reinforced his belief in human adaptability, the ability to survive, to think creatively, and to act with courage in unknown situations. Back at the plateau, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the valley. Myra and Lyra rested, exhausted but excited. Kale sat beside them, reflecting on the day's events. Humanity had once again shown its strength, not through weapons or power, but through intelligence, intuition, and compassion. Lysera approached him quietly. Kale, your actions today prove what humans are capable of. Courage, wisdom, and loyalty, traits we can only admire. Kale looked at her, humbled. I just do what any human would do when someone trusts them, and when I see potential for good, I try to protect it. The twins leaned against him, tired but happy. We learned so much today, Myra said. Not just about this valley, but about bravery and trust. Kale nodded. Exactly, and the galaxy is full of places like this. Challenges, tests, but with courage and intelligence, humans and our friends can overcome them. As night fell, the hidden valley glowed softly beneath the stars. Kale, Lysera, and the twins watched in awe, knowing that they had survived the first true test of the hidden civilization. But Kale also knew that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of mysteries, and somewhere beyond the plateau, new threats and discoveries awaited. For now they rested, united by trust, courage, and the bond between human and Sci-Fi. The hidden civilization had tested them and recognized their worth. And Kale felt a quiet pride. Humanity, with all its flaws and brilliance, had once again shown that it could rise to challenges, adapt, and protect those it cared about. Somewhere in the distance, faint lights pulsed across the valley. Kale's eyes narrowed. He knew the journey ahead would be dangerous, but also exciting. And humans, he realized, had a role to play in shaping the stars. The twins slept peacefully, Lysera beside them, and Kale gazed at the sky. We've come far, he whispered, but the adventure is just beginning. And in the quiet glow of the hidden civilization, the pulse of intelligence and life continued, watching, waiting, and perhaps guiding the path of humans and Sci-Fi alike. The sun rose over the plateau, casting long shadows across the glimmering crystals of the hidden valley. Kale, Princess Lysera, and her daughters had spent the night resting, but the sense of unease never fully left Kale. Somewhere beyond the horizon, the galaxy was alive with challenges, and he knew the hidden civilization was only the beginning of what they had to face. Lysera approached him, her iridescent eyes reflecting both concern and hope. Kale, you have proven yourself invaluable, she said, but the galaxy does not wait for rest. There are threats beyond this plateau, threats that endanger entire worlds. We must act. Kale nodded, standing tall despite the weariness in his muscles. Then let's move quickly. Humans adapt. We think, we plan, and we act. That's how we survive. Lysera smiled faintly. Your confidence is reassuring, but this is more than survival. It is diplomacy, strategy, and leadership. They returned to Lysera's diplomatic ship, which hovered silently above the plateau. The twins, Myra and Lyra, excitedly recounted their experiences in the hidden valley, their laughter mixing with the hum of the ship's engines. Kale listened, smiling, but his mind was already focused on what came next, an interstellar council meeting that could determine the future of multiple worlds. The council chamber was massive, circular, and filled with representatives of countless species. Aliens of all shapes, sizes, and colors murmured quietly, observing the arrival of Princess Lysera and her human companion. Kale's presence drew curious glances. Humans were still considered primitive by many in the galaxy. Some whispered doubts about his ability to contribute meaningfully. As the meeting began, Lysera stood tall and addressed the council. We face a threat unlike any we have encountered, a rogue asteroid traveling at unprecedented speed that could destroy inhabited planets in multiple systems. We need a plan, and we need allies. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Some representatives argued about probabilities, others discussed technology, and a few openly doubted humans' capacity to contribute. Kale noticed their skepticism and felt the familiar weight of responsibility. He stepped forward. "If I may," he began, his voice steady. "I understand why many doubt humans. We do not have the oldest technology, nor the largest fleets, but we have something unique: creativity, intuition, and the ability to adapt in ways that no machine or protocol can match. I believe we can help stop this asteroid." The chamber fell silent. Eyes turned toward him, some curious, others skeptical. Kale continued. "Technology can calculate trajectories, but it cannot improvise. Humans can make decisions in the moment, using limited resources in unexpected ways. We can combine our instincts with your technology to protect all affected systems." Lysera watched him, a hint of pride in her gaze. "This human is correct," she said. "We have the knowledge, but we need bold action. Humans provide that." The council deliberated for hours. Plans were proposed, rejected, and modified. Kale worked tirelessly, analyzing data, suggesting strategies, and improvising solutions to problems that advanced technology alone could not solve. He proposed a combination of precise laser deflection, energy field manipulation, and calculated use of gravitic propulsion, all ideas inspired by human ingenuity. Many of the alien delegates were astonished. Kale's strategies were unconventional, but they made sense. Where machines saw limits, he saw possibilities. Where Sci-Fi logic was rigid, Kale's human intuition found flexible solutions. Finally, the council agreed to Kale's plan. A fleet of mixed-species ships was dispatched, guided by his calculations and human-inspired strategies. Kale joined the command team, overseeing operations and adjusting plans as the asteroid approached. The asteroid loomed larger with each passing hour, a dark, jagged shadow against the stars. Sensors detected unstable energy fields, and the asteroid's trajectory was erratic. Machines calculated escape paths, but Kale noticed subtle patterns that suggested a more precise method was needed. "Focus on the points of instability," he instructed. "We can use those to shift its path gradually. Don't just push, it's delicate. Too much force will fragment it, creating even more danger." The alien commanders looked at him uncertainly, but they followed his instructions. Kale's intuition guided the fleet like a conductor directing an orchestra. Every adjustment was calculated, every move deliberate. Hours passed. Sweat dripped down Kale's brow, but he never faltered. The asteroid's path began to shift, slowly but surely. The fleet's energy beams, combined with gravitic pulses, guided it away from inhabited systems. The plan worked, not because it was the strongest, but because it was clever, adaptive, and precise. Finally, the asteroid passed safely, its trajectory diverted into a harmless orbit. Cheers erupted across the fleet, and Kale allowed himself a rare moment of relief. Humans had proven their worth, not through force but through intelligence, courage, and adaptability. The council representatives, once skeptical, now looked at him with admiration. "Remarkable," one elder alien said. "Your species has potential beyond what we imagined." Lysera approached Kale, her eyes filled with pride. "You have shown the galaxy what humans can do. Bravery, intelligence, and loyalty. These are traits that cannot be measured by technology alone." Kale smiled humbly. "I just did what humans do best: think, adapt, and act. And it worked because we worked together." Myra and Lyra, watching from the observation deck, clapped and cheered. "Kale, you saved everyone," Myra exclaimed. Lyra added, "Humans are amazing." Kale knelt beside them. "We all saved them. Humans, Sci-Fi, and everyone who worked together. That's the important part." The council concluded the meeting, passing resolutions to recognize humans as vital partners in interstellar defense. Kale's actions not only saved countless lives but also changed the perception of humanity in the galaxy. No longer were humans seen as primitive. They were innovators, problem solvers, and courageous allies. As the ship traveled back to the plateau, Kale reflected on the events. The hidden valley, the mysterious civilization, and the rogue asteroid had tested him in ways he had never imagined. But through it all, he had relied on what made humans unique: creativity, courage, and the ability to think beyond protocol. Lysera joined him at the observation deck, the twins asleep in the cabin behind them. "Kale, the galaxy owes you a debt," she said softly. "Not just for what you did today, but for showing that humans have a place among the stars." Kale shook his head. "I didn't do it for recognition. I did it because it was necessary, because we could make a difference. That's what humans do. They see challenges and face them, no matter how impossible they seem." Lysera nodded thoughtfully. "Then humanity's role is clear. You are more than a species. You are a bridge between worlds, between beings, between the known and the unknown." Kale smiled faintly, feeling a quiet pride. Humans had once again proven their worth, not with brute strength, but with courage, intelligence, and the ability to unite across differences. The ship sailed smoothly through the stars, carrying Kale, Lysera, and the twins back to their home systems. But Kale knew the galaxy held many more challenges. Rogue asteroids were only the beginning. Unknown civilizations, mysterious phenomena, and tests of courage awaited. And yet, he felt ready. Humanity had shown it could rise to any occasion. Humans could think, adapt, and protect. Humans could inspire trust, build bridges, and change the course of events in ways even the most advanced technology could not. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, Kale held the twins' hands, feeling their warmth and trust. "No matter what comes next," he whispered, "we face it together. Humans, Scifi, and all our allies, together we are stronger." Myra yawned and leaned against him. "We're safe now, Kale, thanks to you." Lyra added sleepily, "Humans are clever and brave." Kale smiled, looking out into the vast expanse of space. The galaxy was full of wonders and dangers, but humanity had proven it could rise to every challenge. And as long as humans used their courage, intelligence, and empathy, they could face anything the stars had in store. And somewhere beyond the stars, new adventures waited, adventures that would test humans again, but also show the universe the true strength of the human spirit. The twin suns of the Andromeda expanse dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and violet. Kale stood on the observation deck of Princess Lysera's ship, watching the glow reflect off the distant planets. The past days had been a whirlwind, rescuing the princess's daughters, navigating the hidden valley, and helping divert a rogue asteroid. But this moment felt calm, almost serene. Beside him, Lysera's daughters, Myra and Lyra, chattered quietly. Their eyes sparkled with excitement as they recounted every detail of the adventures they had shared with Kale. "Kale, you saved us again," Myra said earnestly. "Not just from the valley, but from the asteroid." Lyra added, "Humans are incredible. You think fast, act bravely, and always protect us." Kale smiled, feeling a deep warmth in his chest. "I didn't do it for praise," he said. "I did it because it was necessary. Because someone needed to protect you, and humans, well, we try to help when we can." Lysera approached quietly, her eyes reflecting the colors of the sunset. "Kale, your actions have changed more than these few worlds. You have shown the galaxy what humanity can do. You have proven that courage, intelligence, and compassion are not limited by species. They are universal." Kale looked at her, humbled. "I only did what humans always try to do: adapt, think, and act. And it worked because I wasn't alone. You and your daughters trusted me, and that made all the difference." The twins climbed onto the railing beside Kale, holding his hands. The soft breeze of the plateau brushed their hair, and for a moment, All seemed quiet in the vast universe, but Kale knew that peace was temporary. There would always be challenges, rogue asteroids, hidden civilizations, and unexplored corners of space. Yet he felt ready. He thought of the hidden valley with its living machinery and glowing towers. The place had tested him, teaching lessons that no human classroom ever could. It had shown that intelligence combined with courage could overcome even the most sophisticated technology. It had also reminded him that trust between species could create bonds stronger than any force field. Lysera spoke softly. The hidden civilization recognized your worth, Kale, but I wonder, what lessons did you learn from them? Kale considered her question. That intelligence and courage are not just about strength or technology. They're about creativity, adaptability, and understanding. The valley taught me that humans can face any challenge if we think carefully and act bravely. And maybe that we can inspire others too. The twins beamed, absorbing every word. We want to learn too, Lyra exclaimed. We want to be brave and clever just like you, Kale chuckled. And you will. Humans aren't the only ones with courage. You two are brave already, and you've shown that even young minds can make a difference. As night fell, the stars revealed themselves in full glory. The ship floated silently above the plateau, a beacon of hope and cooperation among the worlds. Kale gazed at the constellations, noticing patterns that reminded him of the hidden valley, the trails they had followed, and the energy fields they had navigated. Each challenge had required observation, intuition, and courage, qualities humans had demonstrated time and again. Lysera joined him again, her presence calm and comforting. Kale, the galaxy will remember what you have done. Humans are no longer seen as primitive observers. You have proven that our species can work together, that trust and intelligence can shape outcomes in ways technology alone cannot. Kale nodded. I hope that's true, but I also hope that humans keep learning, exploring, and proving themselves. The galaxy is full of wonders and we can't stop now. Myra yawned and rested her head against Kale's shoulder. Lyra followed suit, curling up beside him. We're safe with you, Myra murmured sleepily. Kale smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility and pride. Protecting these girls, guiding them, and navigating the galaxy's dangers had tested him in every way. But it had also reminded him why humans were capable of greatness. Not because of strength, but because of courage, intelligence, empathy, and the ability to unite with others. The days that followed were filled with preparations for the journey home. Kale assisted Lysera in planning the safe return to her homeworld, while ensuring the twins' education in both human and Sci-Fi ways continued. Every step was an opportunity for learning, for building trust, and for understanding the importance of cooperation across species. One afternoon, as Kale and the twins walked through the observation deck, they encountered a group of young Sci-Fi cadets. They had heard of Kale's deeds and looked at him with awe. You saved worlds, one said shyly. How did you do it? Kale knelt to their level. We did it together, he said. Humans have courage and so do all of you. The key is to think carefully, act bravely, and trust one another. Every species has strengths. If you combine them, there's nothing you cannot achieve. The cadets nodded, inspired. Kale realized then that his actions had already begun to influence the next generation, shaping the way humans and Sci-Fi would collaborate in the future. Night came again, and the twin suns set, leaving the stars brighter than ever. Kale, Lysera, and the twins gathered on the deck, watching the vast expanse of space. The hidden valley had taught them lessons, the asteroid had tested them, and the Council had witnessed humanity's potential. Every challenge had been met, and every danger had been overcome. Lysera spoke softly, her voice reflective. Kale, do you ever wonder why humans are capable of such courage? Kale looked at the stars, thinking. I think it's in our nature. We're curious, we face fear, and we don't give up easily. We make mistakes, yes, but we learn from them. And maybe that's why humans can survive, adapt, and even inspire others across the stars. The twins snuggled closer, drifting off to sleep under the stars. Kale gently covered them with a soft blanket. He felt a deep connection, not just to them, but to all humans and all allies across the galaxy. The bond between species, built on trust and understanding, was stronger than any technology or weapon. As Kale stood and looked out into the endless universe, he thought of the challenges ahead. There would be new civilizations, new mysteries, and new threats, but humans had proven their worth. They could protect, adapt, and lead. Lysera placed a hand on his shoulder. Kale, the galaxy is wide and full of unknowns, but with humans by our side, I feel confident. You have shown that courage and intelligence can bridge worlds. Kale nodded. We'll continue to learn, explore, and protect. That's what humans do best. The ship glided silently through space, carrying its passengers toward new adventures. Myra and Lyra slept peacefully, their trust in Kale absolute. Lysera's gaze was steady and proud. And Kale, looking at the stars, felt a sense of purpose deeper than anything he had known on Earth. He thought of humanity, of its flaws and brilliance, and he knew one thing for certain. Humans could rise to any challenge, no matter how vast the universe. With courage, intelligence, and the ability to unite with others, humanity could shape the future of the stars. As the twin suns rose again on a new day, Kale, Lysera, and the twins prepared for the journey home. But the story of courage, ingenuity, and interspecies bonds would continue. Humanity had proven its worth, and the galaxy would never forget it. In the quiet of the observation deck, Kale whispered, almost to himself, "We've come far, but the adventure is just beginning. Humans will face the stars, and together we will rise." And somewhere beyond the stars, across countless worlds and civilizations, the pulse of life continued. Humans, Sci-Fi, and allies of many kinds would face new challenges, explore new mysteries, and build a future shaped by courage, trust, and the brilliance of the human spirit. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders, and humans had found their place among them.